Previously in Part 1. In the first part of this story, we followed the extraordinary journey of Steve Paul Jobs, a child given up for adoption who grew up to build one of the most iconic tech companies in the world. From repairing cars with his father to co-founding Apple in a small garage, Jobs' brilliance and stubborn willpower transformed him from a rebellious teenager into a Silicon Valley legend. With Steve Wozniak, he created the Apple I and II, introducing the world to personal computing. By the late 1970s, Jobs was a millionaire, but his temper and ego were growing just as fast as his success. Yet his greatest challenges and triumphs were still to come. Now in Part 2, this is the story of his downfall, exile, and rebirth. The years that tested Steve Jobs' spirit and ultimately made him a legend who changed how humanity lives, works, and dreams. After the success of Apple II, Jobs wanted to push boundaries further. He poured his heart into a new computer named after his daughter, Lisa. It was advanced, sleek, and expensive, but it failed. The next project, Apple III, met the same fate. Critics called it unreliable, and sales plummeted. Jobs refused to give up. He envisioned a computer that would feel alive, not just a machine, but something elegant and human. That dream became the Macintosh. In 1984, when the Macintosh was launched with a legendary 1984 Super Bowl ad, it captured the world's imagination. But despite the hype, its high price and limited software led to disappointing sales. Inside Apple, power struggles began. Jobs' perfectionism and harsh behavior pushed colleagues away. One man, however, had gained his trust: John Sculley, the marketing genius from Pepsi. Jobs had convinced him to join Apple with a single, unforgettable question: do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or come with me and change the world? But not long after, the same man would help drive him out of his own company. Apple's board, tired of Jobs' chaos and clashes, sided with Sculley. In 1985, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was fired. The news broke across Silicon Valley like a thunderclap. The man who had built Apple was gone. For Steve, it was a devastating blow. He later said, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." With his fortune from Apple stock, he started a new company. Next's goal was to create the most powerful computer in the world for universities and businesses. The design was beautiful, but the price was sky high. The company sold only a few thousand machines. Even Bill Gates, his rival at Microsoft, mocked Next, calling it a machine that's 5 years ahead of its time and 10 times too expensive. But Next wasn't a failure. Not truly. Its software and sleek design would later become the foundation of Apple's future. During this same period, Jobs made another bold move. In 1986, he bought a small graphics division from George Lucas, creator of Star Wars, for $10 million. That company would become Pixar Animation Studios. Pixar began as a struggling graphics business, but Steve believed in it. He invested millions and guided its creative team to focus on storytelling through animation. After years of trial and error, their breakthrough came in 1995 with Toy Story, the first fully computer-animated feature film in history. It was a massive hit, earning $373 million worldwide and winning critical acclaim. Pixar's success made Jobs a billionaire once again. When Disney bought Pixar in 2006, he became Disney's largest shareholder and joined its board of directors. Meanwhile, Apple was crumbling without him. Its products were uninspired, its profits collapsing. In 1997, Apple's board finally realized the truth. They needed Steve Jobs back. Apple purchased Next for $429 million, bringing both Steve and his revolutionary software home. Upon his return, Jobs made bold, ruthless decisions. He slashed dozens of failing projects, simplified Apple's lineup, and refocused the company on design and innovation. To save Apple financially, he did something unexpected. He called Bill Gates. In a shocking twist, Microsoft invested $150 million in Apple. Crowds booed when Jobs announced it, but he smiled and said, "We have to let go of this idea that for Apple to win, Microsoft has to lose." That year, Apple launched a product that would mark its rebirth, the iMac. Its transparent shell, vibrant colors, and plug-and-play simplicity captured hearts worldwide. The iMac didn't just save Apple, it reinvented it. With the iMac's success, Steve set his sights higher. He wanted Apple not just in people's offices, but in their pockets, their homes, their lives. In 2001, he unveiled the iPod, a sleek white device that could store 1,000 songs in your pocket. It wasn't just a gadget, it was a cultural revolution. Then came iTunes, allowing people to buy and organize music legally online. Apple was no longer just a computer company, it was becoming a lifestyle brand. But Jobs' greatest creation was yet to come. On January 9, 2007, standing on stage in his trademark black turtleneck and jeans, he uttered a line that would make history. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. The iPhone changed everything. How we communicate, how we work, how we live. Touchscreens replaced buttons, apps replaced tools, and Apple became the most valuable company on earth. From a small garage to global domination, it was the ultimate comeback story. But behind that success, Steve's health was quietly fading. In 2003, he was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Doctors advised immediate surgery, but Jobs, ever the believer in alternative medicine, tried special diets and spiritual treatments instead. By the time he agreed to surgery, the cancer had spread. Despite this, he kept working. Even as he grew thinner and weaker, he appeared at product launches, always smiling, always passionate. In 2009, he underwent a liver transplant and briefly stepped away from Apple. Yet his mind never stopped creating. Under his guidance came the iPad, another revolutionary device that redefined modern computing. But by 2011, his strength was fading rapidly. In August, he stepped down as Apple's CEO, handing the reins to Tim Cook. Just 2 months later, on October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away peacefully at his home in Palo Alto, surrounded by his family. He was 56 years old. His final words were simple, but hauntingly beautiful. "Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow." Steve Jobs didn't just build products. He built a culture. He taught the world that technology could be beautiful, that simplicity was the ultimate sophistication, and that passion could change everything. From a boy tinkering in a garage to the visionary who shaped the 21st century, Steve Jobs' story is not just about success. It's about belief, rebellion, failure, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. He once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." And Steve Jobs truly did.